I normally make notes for these YouTube videos and I just like read them off and then I can read my notes and stuff like that. But this one is just straight off the top of my head because this is something that I've been thinking about for a while now, and I finally think I've got it down to the point where I can articulate what I want to say and explain it in a manner so that people will agree with what I say. I can make a valid point, and that people watching this video will be able to learn something maybe about themselves by me explaining my own story. And so the thing that I'm going to talk about today is conscientiousness, and the idea that someone who is, super orderly, they make their bed a lot, they, are super organized, all this kind of stuff. They focus and they want to improve on many different things in life, and what this means for people like that. Now, first of all, if you're not familiar with me, my name is Ben Lister. I help agency owners by documenting all of my learnings on this YouTube channel that help me to make like multi-six figures per year. And I've no doubt more in the future. And so I'm just documenting my learning so that you can learn from the things that I learned too. And the main thing that I want to talk about is everyone, well, I'd say 99% of people who are watching this will be conscientious in some capacity, above average conscientiousness, without a doubt. And mostly because people who watch YouTube videos on self-improvement and business and stuff like that, they want to improve. They want to improve their business. And a lot of people that are watching this are going to be younger guys. They're going to be guys who are definitely, lower 20s, maybe even a teenager, right? And so if you're in that position, then you're probably pretty conscientious. Now, when you are in this position that you're in, and the reason that this manifests, for example, it could be so many different things. You could be conscientious for a whole bunch of reasons. It's not as if you just woke up one day and then you were conscientious when you were a kid. When it develops, when you are a teenager and a young adult, it mostly comes about from some kind of trauma in your life, something that happens to you which you can't really quantify. It's kind of like a subconscious understanding, but it makes you want to improve on things. It makes you want to change the past for whatever reason and improve on your life and improve on the things that you did before. Now, the classic example of this is a lot of people will talk about the fact that they were bullied as a kid, right? And so all of a sudden they want to go and create a business when they become of age, and they have this desire to be a better person and to impress people and all this kind of stuff, and that manifests through a business. And there's other people. I know the story of Elon Musk. He has like a really bad relationship with his parents, I think, or at least with his dad, through his childhood, and it really wasn't great. He moved from South Africa to America when he was a kid, and I must have had issues that come about with that. And so this is manifested in him now all of a sudden wanting to be the person that takes humans to Mars, right? Which is the most unbelievable thing ever, right? And that's the crazy goals that he has. And you don't just want to do that unless you are a special type of person. No one wants to be the richest person in the world. No one wakes up and say, I'm going to be the richest person in the world, and actually goes ahead and does it because of that motivation. Eventually they will stop, because how many billions does one person need, right? When you basically own the same amount of assets as a small country, you don't really need to keep working, right? And so there's a level of conscientiousness there, personality trait, something that drives a person on to do more. And it's mostly because they want to improve themselves. Sometimes it reflects in, wanting to improve other people and improve communities and help people and stuff like that. But it mostly comes about wanting to better yourself and to keep succeeding. And so when you first start in business, a lot of people have very egotistical goals, I would say. People want to be successful. They want to make 10K a month so that they can travel. And the reason they want to travel a lot of times is so they can have a crazy Instagram page, right? And they can say, hey, look at me, I travel. And they can talk about how I'm traveling all the time and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I didn't have the travel goals, to be honest with you. The goal that I had initially, at the very, very beginning, was to move in my place in London. I live this lifestyle where I kind of just like work a little bit, but I make quite a lot of money from my business and stuff like that. And I kind of live that lifestyle right now. And I've been living that lifestyle for a little while now. But the thing is, people don't realize is that the reason that they started in the first place was not to get that lifestyle. It was in some capacity, but the reason they started in the first place was because they are conscientious on some level, because they want to improve. And so the reason they wanted these crazy things, they wanted to travel, they wanted to live in Dubai or whatever it was, is because they're at some underlying level, they are conscientious. They want to improve, right? But they think that the reason that they want to start this business and do all this thing is because they want that lifestyle, right? But you have to ask yourself the question, what happens when you hit that lifestyle? Are you just going to keep working? Or are you going to be losing your motivation? How's that going to go, right? But do you think, oh, like I've completed it, right? I've done it. I'm doing this thing. I've hit my goals. I have the money I want. I have the lifestyle that I want, and now I've hit it and I'm fine. Okay, and you might think that that's what's going to happen, and in some capacity in my life and in my head, I had this goal of like 10K a month, this is the lifestyle I want to live, and I can do this, and then there was like a massive gap, and then it was like 20 years later, and then this is the ultimate goal that I want when I'm like 50, right? But you forget that there's this huge chunk in the middle where you just imagine I'm going to be living the lifestyle, make 10K a month, I'll have a nice car, I'll have a nice place, I'll have the lifestyle, be able to go out to eat all the time, I can like buy myself loads of things, I can make investments and all this kind of stuff, and my life will just be amazing. And in some capacity, like, yes, it will be, but because you are conscientious, you're going to get very, very bored of whatever your goal is so incredibly quickly. Not even, honestly, like if you're talking about, moving to a new country and living in a different country and paying like 0% tax, that'll get boring within a few weeks. Like not even joking, man. Like, especially if you're that kind of person, if you want to do things and improve things, which you definitely are, because of the things that you've done before and the way that that's presented itself by wanting to create a business, by spending at least 6 minutes listening to some random dude on YouTube talk about business and mindset, this is going to get old very, very quickly. And I think even me telling this right now, people have told me this in the past, and obviously you kind of just like brush it aside because you're like so focused in on your goal and what you want to do. Just because I'm telling you this now, I don't think it's going to fully settle in people's heads until it happens to them, until they get to the point where they achieve their goals, things start to happen, and obviously they experience the rewards that they want and they live the lifestyle that they want. They reach their mood board, right? And they tick off all the things they wanted to do, and then they get there and they're like, okay, this is cool, but now what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's always like the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then it gets to the point where you basically have everything that you want, you could sort of physiologically want. You have all of your needs met, right? You have a place to stay, which is very nice. You have food and water. You have, a rainy day fund. You have all of the stuff where basically if things just went to complete shit tomorrow, you'd be fine for like 6 months, 12 months, right? You wouldn't have to work for a long time. You can even get to the point where you become financially free, where obviously this is where you make, your assets return more on per year as an investment, as an interest, than you would spend it, right? So if you had $1 million in the bank and you get 10% a year, as long as you spend less than $100,000, you're never going to run out of money, right? You can get to this point. But then it still becomes about like you've achieved everything, like life is completed, like this is done. But then it still becomes about improving yourself, because that's basically the reason why you started in the first place. And this just manifested through different goals. And so even though you've achieved all of this stuff and you've done exactly what you wanted to do, you're still going to want to do more. You're still going to see your neighbor who's just started this business and he's telling you about this thing, and you're going to say like, hold on a minute, like this guy's going out here and he's just started a brand new business and he's making this much money, he's hiring these people, he's doing this, he's doing that. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just achieved my goals. Like, I'm just living in my brand new house, what I spent all my money on. This is my dream house. But now what am I doing? Like I feel a little bit inadequate. And obviously, if you are conscientious, there's a very high chance that your self-worth is going to be derived from not the things that you have, but the things that you are doing. So in many ways, like I see it in sports people, for example, people who used to be like really big boxers, for example, world champion boxers, they used to be like legendary boxers. At the time, obviously they like loved what they were doing and stuff like that. But now that they've retired, they don't really care about the fact that they used to be a champion. Obviously the legacy's there and they're proud of it and stuff like that, but it's really about like, what are they doing at the moment? Like they don't really feel like that's why they always want to get back to it. They always want to get back into the ring. They always want to fight again. That's why you see Mike Tyson fighting at the age of like 58, 59 or whatever it is, which is just like wild, because he just can't lose that. He just wants to be better. He wants to always be the man. He wants to always be the guy. And obviously that's in a sporting context, but in a business context, in a financial context, you will still have that there till the day that you die. This is why Warren Buffett is like 100 years old and he's still going strong and he's going to work till the day that he dies. This is why all the billionaires and the rich business people that you can think of, that have been successful, that's why they're all super old most of the time, because like they just don't stop until they die. And obviously you make more and more money the longer that you're alive, and the compound interest is just going to take over. And so like these are the guys that are killing it, the ones that are just sticking around for ages, and that will be you. And you think that, one day I'm just going to wake up and life will be complete. I have this to-do list today that I'm working on right now. I have like sales calls, and I have like tasks to do, and I've got to check up on clients and stuff like that. One day I'm going to wake up and those tasks will be gone. Everything will be done. I'll have like my family life sorted. I'll have my business life sorted. I'll have my fitness goals sorted. Like, things will be done. My task will just be to remain fit, right? Or just to manage the business that I have, the assets that I have. But no, like, problems will come up every single day, and you will always have to fix those. Mostly because you subconsciously, or maybe even consciously at this point, you want those problems to be there because you are that kind of person. You want to improve, you want to keep going. This is something that I'm like fully realizing it, and I'm just basically coming to terms with the fact that I have a life of problem solving, which is going to be incredibly rewarding, I've no doubt, and it's going to be incredibly fulfilling, and I'm going to be achieving a lot of things, like, I have no doubt in that. But the stress and the complications that come with that, I'm kind of accepting now. I'm kind of just realizing that this is here based on a lot of the people that I speak to now who make, the money that I want to make, and the people who have the similar experiences to what I've had maybe a few years ago, that I'm now looking up to and thinking, this is what I want to do now. I want to make 7 figures, multi 7 figures, 8 figures. I want to have this, I want to have that. I want to buy a football team, right? All this kind of stuff that you think about, just being able to, have the status to do that and have the actual capabilities to do that. Even though you have all of these goals and dreams, like the stresses of those are going to come with you. And I think the quicker that you can realize that and accept that, and just accept that this is the life that you've been restricted to, I think the easier it's going to be for you. And so accepting now that your first goal might be 10K a month, your first goal might be to move out, your first goal might be to, something that's relatively small in the grand scheme of things, making enough money to buy like a terrible car every month. Like, it's really nothing. But eventually those goals they'll seem even smaller than they might do now, and obviously for me, it might sound a little bit, cocky to say that like 10K a month isn't a lot of money, because there might be people watching this who think that that's an awful lot of money. And, and I guess in like the 9-to-5 world, like the general public world, I guess it is. But eventually your goals that you have right now, your mood board that you're looking at, will seem so small. And I was talking with a friend of mine this morning, and we were talking about, we hadn't properly spoken for like a few months. And I was saying, like, dude, like the guy that you spoke to like 3 to 6 months ago, whenever it was, he's an idiot. Like, he is so stupid compared to like me now. And I see that person and what he was aiming for and the things that he was doing as a complete idiot, because obviously I've advanced that much and I've progressed that much, and now the goals and the ideas and the beliefs that I had so long ago that I thought, were really, really good beliefs and, pretty tough goals to reach, those are now so small in comparison. And the goals that I have now, in a few years' time, I'm going to be looking back on this video and saying like, oh, at the start of my videos, I say like, I want to make 7 figures, right? And eventually I'm going to be looking at that like, oh, like I actually was hoping for 7 figures. And then when I have 7 figures and I have a business that makes that kind of money, then I'm just not going to see that as anything special at all, right? And it's so bizarre how quickly you actually adjust to that. And I think it's heightened when you are the kind of person who would be watching a video like this, who would want to start an online business, who would want to put themselves through the pain, when they're pretty young. And most people wouldn't. They would just want to relax and, enjoy their time and stuff like that. But I think if you come to terms with the fact that this is coming for you, this lifestyle of pain and hard work, and it's very difficult to talk about it in a positive light, because it all sounds terrible, but the rewards of actually experiencing that and conquering that and achieving that is going to be so far greater than the negatives. But it is going to be a life of pain, it is going to be a life of struggle, it is going to be a life of overcoming challenges and problem solving, it's going to be a life of stress, but eventually it will all be worth it. And as long as you can come to terms with that, then I think you will do just fine. And the quicker that you come to terms with that, the faster you will get to your goals, the faster you will realize, and the less shocks you will have when it comes. And when you realize that stupid English dude on the internet was right, and I actually now am in a situation where I thought I would be really happy when I get to this point, and I thought I'd be really fulfilled, and I thought I would have all the things that I want. But it's not about that. It's always about the next goal. It's always about the next thing. It's always about, the next whatever it is to on your final step, your final actual goal in life, whether this is to be a billionaire or to own a football team or whatever it is, right? But yeah, I think if you just know this going into things, or even if you have been doing this for a while and you just now slowly start to become aware of it, I think that's going to be pretty valuable. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, obviously like the video and all that. If you're looking for more clients, first link in the description. You don't have to click it. I don't really care if you do or not. These videos obviously are just me talking my mind a lot of the time, giving away tips and advice, things that I think are pretty relevant, and I know for a fact will help a lot of people, especially if they're in the same kind of mindset and headspace as me. But yeah, like the video if you like the video, comment and all that, subscribe and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching and have a good day.